Here we go, episode 1. Let's go. Hello, good evening, everyone. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Frankie. I live here in the great city of Richmond, California. I am a stroke survivor. I had my stroke in 2016. It is now 2021, so I'm going on 5 years now. The reason I'm creating this podcast, even though I know I don't have a great voice for this kind of thing, but I'm doing my best. But the reason I'm doing this is to reach out to my community members, especially those on my Facebook page. Those of you who are probably new to the stroke game, just had a stroke. I know this is all scary to you, but believe me, it gets better. Well, without further ado, here we go, episode 1. I still remember the day when I first got out of the hospital. Everything looked so strange to me. I remember that car ride back home was a dizzying one, if nothing else. I remember me just seeing life, just experiencing the air hitting me in my face once more. It all seemed so surreal. I still remember like it was yesterday. It doesn't even seem like 5 years now that I think about it. Just coming out of that hospital and not being able to walk, not being able to sit up straight. I remember my limbs were seemed like they weren't a part of me anymore. Even on my what we call gut side, that I could still move. I remember it. I remember myself thinking, "This can't be happening. This can't be me." They said that after a certain time you can tell your story, you've healed, but I can't. Still can't do it. But for you guys, I will do it. Okay? Sorry I freaked out there a little bit. So where was I? I was coming out of the hospital. I was on my way back home. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I still recall that first walk out of the hospital. Well, I didn't walk. I came out in a wheelchair. Like I'm sure a lot of you survivors did as well. If you didn't, consider yourself very lucky. Even though none of us are lucky to have had a stroke. Some of us have strokes sometimes for reasons unknown. You could be healthy your whole life, then all of a sudden, boom, you just end up in the hospital. So that's just a little recap of what I went through when I came out of the hospital. Now, when I got back home, things seemed even stranger. Because I couldn't use the restroom for myself anymore. I couldn't shower by myself anymore. I remember I had strange visitors all the time, from the hospital, the social workers, the home therapist. It was all very exhausting. I remember back then, even just getting on the bed was a big workout. 5 years for me, it got better, but for some folks, I know it takes a little longer than that. And if you're still struggling with that, after a long time, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll give you any tips that I can. By no means do I consider myself an expert. I can share what I've experienced. I'm here to help any way I can, I'm not the best at it, but I'll try. For you guys, I'll try anything. Now, this part I was going to leave for another episode, but I think I'll just throw it out there. Besides losing my mobility back then, among other things, mentally, the thing that hurt me the most, I remember, was relationship. I had a relationship back then, and it just went down the drain after my stroke. Because apparently I was worth a lot less after I had my stroke. My friends, they were gone. My girlfriend, completely gone. I had something like a girlfriend. She stuck around for a while, but even she never took me seriously, I believe. It was very painful time in my life. Like I'm sure a lot of you survivors are experiencing as well. Friends, family members, sometimes they tend to get away from us when we go through something like this, sadly. Because at that point, we felt like a burden. And God knows I did. Boy, did I feel like a burden back then. I felt so incompetent. Just all kinds of negative things. I keep saying negative things, but I'm not. I'm here now. I'm working with what I got, and at least I can do this. I'm just working with what I got. Like I'm sure a lot of you guys are trying to do as well, And more power to you, if you do things like this. I'm just throwing my little grain of sand out there, trying to cause motion in the universe, I guess. I don't know. I guess the universe and God works in mysterious ways, Sometimes we go through things like this so we can find our purpose in life, what we were called to do. Because maybe in another situation we would have ignored our talents and things that we could do for others, If anything, if I got anything out of the stroke, is that I've become a more conscious human being. I honestly have become more loving. I've grown as a person. I've learned to get out of my comfort zone. Because God knows if I was healthy, I wouldn't be doing shit like this. No, never. But because I'm in this situation, I try to think outside the box a lot more. And that's something that I'll discuss even more as we go through these episodes. I know it was short, but I consider this the first episode. I hope you guys stick around. I try to put episodes up weekly. Honestly, with the time I have weekly, it's probably the best I can do. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you're a survivor. It does get better, as I'm sure you will see through these episodes. Much love to you and peace.